Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can email me directly at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like our show, be sure to check out our Patreon, Opperman Report Patreon. We got brand new content going up there every month, about 8 hours of new content. We just put up a show with Bradley Birkenfeld about the Hunter Biden laptop. We got some exclusive information on that. And also to our archives, you can always find for free at Spreaker.com popularfront.com. Put up new content every night there, repeats, and then a live show on Friday night. Our guest today is Jake Hanharan, coming to us from the UK. UK at the moment, but the guy's traveling all over the world. You could find him at jakehanharan.com, where he has a lot of his popular films. He's a filmmaker and a journalist, a world traveler. He hits all the war zones out there. And also you want to check out his platform, popularfront.co. Mr. Hanharan, are you there?
Yes. Thanks very much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, tell us about yourself. Who is Jake Hanharan?
I'm just me, man. I'm 30 years old. I've been a reporter for about 7 years now. Completely self-taught. I didn't do uni or any of that. Used to work for Vice News. That's where I kind of got a name for myself. And, now I have my own independent platform, Popular Front.
Now, how do you finance all this? And how do you get yourself all around the world into these war zones? The passports, the visas, how do you pull that off?
Well, before, obviously, when I was at Vice and freelancing for various other companies, it was a hell of a lot easier. Now I'm independent. It's much more difficult. But we have a Patreon like you do, patreon.com/popularfront. And, we've been going 3 years now, and we're in a position where, we can afford to go and do these things off of the subscriptions on the Patreon. We offer bonus content regularly up there. We also sell merchandise, which, believe it or not, is doing really well. But we refuse to have any kind of corporate advertising or venture capital, because I just feel like all of that is a big problem when it comes to journalism, and it kind of, you end up with people above you, and Popular Front, I don't really want anyone above us. The ones that are doing it, we should be the ones that can control the story, or tell it as it is.
Now, it seems also too that you're constantly in hot zones, like war zones. Are you like some kind of like an adventure junkie or adrenaline junkie?
No. Honestly, like the older I get, the less I want to go to the conflict zone.
Good.
But there is an element to it where it's obviously exciting, but it's not so much the conflict, it's the way that life is just so different in a conflict area, like everything is tipped on its head. What was important to you at home suddenly becomes completely irrelevant, and then you meet all these people who are, just trying to live in the most hardest situations, and that for me is very exciting, like meeting the most fascinating people, being able to tell their story and do it all like that. So that for me is a part of it. And I definitely, when I was younger, I was probably a little bit more reckless. But now, I do take a lot more precautions.
And these people living in these hot zones, like what is their biggest struggle?
Man, I mean, I think honestly, one of the biggest struggles is getting attention for the conflicts. Like a Popular Front, a lot of the time we cover underreported conflicts. So, for example, the war in Nagorno-Karabakh between Azerbaijan and Armenia, it's just flared up. It's got really bad. We've been covering that since 2018, since we started. So we try and report on these things that are less noticeable. And another thing I think people are struggling is kind of which proxy power now is, has their back, which one doesn't, and that can be a real problem. If someone starts up like a separatist fight for independence, to be honest, their biggest problem is not going to be can they win, it's going to be, which proxy power is going to stop them. So, yeah, it's a weird situation these days.
Yeah, we forgot to mention your Patreon, which is Popular Front on Patreon, and also to your YouTube channel, which is called Popular Front as well.
That's right, yeah.
People should go to all these platforms and subscribe to all the good work the guys are doing here. Now, what about, do you ever find yourself that you are a target when you're in these war zones?
Yeah, not in the war zones as such. Problem, I did a lot of work into neo-Nazi kind of terror groups over the last 3 years. And a lot of them were like, printing out my picture and putting it in their videos and shooting it. And so they're going to shoot me and kill me and whatever. The police rang me at one point and were like, oh, we have intelligence that they're trying to find your address. I was like, okay, like, good luck. And then the other problem is like despotic governments. So,
right.
When I was reporting on the Kurds fighting against the Turkish government in southeast Turkey, the government arrested me and two of my colleagues. So that is a target. You become a target to the state then. So, that was a problem.
Well, if you got arrested, how'd you get out?
Man, eventually they just deported us after like 11 days. I mean, there was a bit of a like international kind of outcry at the time. I mean, I was like 25 and they put us into like anti-terror prisons, like the max security prisons you can think of, and in Turkey. So like obviously a lot of people were like, what the hell, they haven't done anything. You know, obviously we hadn't. They just wanted to stop us reporting on what was happening. So, you know, eventually I think the pressure got quite big and they were like, right, just kick them out, get them out of here. And we got deported. Yeah. Can never go back.
I had that guy, Billy Hayes, on my show who was in Midnight Express. Right? I had him on the show. Now, it was the Turkish prison you were in, was it like his?
It wasn't like that. Like, it was nowhere near as bad. It really wasn't. But it wasn't pleasant, you know. It was certainly, you know, I got friends in the UK who've been to jail, and I think, wow, I wish the one I was in was that nice, you know. So it certainly wasn't nice, but no, it wasn't Midnight Express.
Okay, great.
Thank God.
Thank God is right, man. But, you know, I tell you, you know, all around the world, there are people sitting in prisons just as bad as Midnight Express. They're there right now as we talk, you know, and this is something we need to really support, like human rights organizations and stuff, Amnesty International.
Absolutely.
And the work you're doing is great work, too, man. Now,
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
The other day, or about a month ago, you were all excited because you just did this big film about printable machine guns, or printable automatic weapons. What's the name of that story?
Yeah. So that's our latest documentary called Plastic Defense. And yeah, like you said, it's about 3D printed guns, but it's not about the ones in America, which, you know, it's fine, it's legal, it's a hobby there. It's about a guy that's making them in Western Europe, and he's trying to export them to countries all over the world where it's completely illegal to do that in in Western Europe. We can barely own a water pistol over here, you know. So it's a big deal. A lot of Americans don't understand why it's a big deal, but it is because over here we just don't have the gun culture, we don't have the laws. You know, most people go their whole lives without ever seeing a gun, so, you know, it's a very big deal. It's got like 500,000 views in like a week, so people are interested, thank God.
And like even the police, the average cop doesn't carry a gun.
Right, yeah. Police don't even carry firearms at all, unless it's like kind of like a higher level of police at like train stations and stuff like that, like big ones in London. But no, they generally, the vast majority do not carry firearms in this country.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Now, we have the Plastic Defense. How did you make contact with this guy?
Well, it was a long process. It took me about 3 years in total. I took notice of the 3D printed guns when they first came out with Cody Wilson and Defense Distributed. Did a little article on that, and I had him on my podcast, and obviously things went south for him. And then I noticed that this new decentralized group, Deterrence Dispensed, was there, you know, and that's kind of like a joke on Defense Distributed, you know, the name Deterrence Dispensed. This is the new group. And they are decentralized, and, you know, if one of them goes down, it doesn't matter. They all, you know, all of their data is out there for everybody. And I don't know, they were a lot more bombastic. They were a lot more kind of, I don't want to say trendy, but they definitely understood like modern day kind of aesthetics, and they were trying to make it cool, you know, and that for me was a very interesting element to it culturally. So I just started contacting them and speaking to them. I wrote an article for Wired. You know, obviously they don't really trust journalists, but I kind of said, like, look, here's my other work. You know, I'm not like this kind of screaming opinion journalist. I do real work. Like, have a look. And eventually, after these years and years, I just, you know, I got the access, and JStark said, like, right, let's go, let's do it quickly. So I did it, and you know, and that was the result.
Now, what motivates him to want to get this kind of publicity?
I think he's so adamant in his beliefs that he wants them to spread, and you know, whilst I told him straight up, like, this is not going to be an advert for you, like, you know, this is a bit of journalism, I'm not doing propaganda for you. He was very respectful of that. He was like, yeah, that's fine. But he just wanted to get his message out there. So, you know, I wanted to tell the story. I think people should know about this. And he wanted people to know about it. So in a way, it kind of went hand in hand, you know, for better or worse.
Now you say Western Europe. Did you ever reveal, like, what country he's in?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not. All my hard drives are mincemeat, just in case the police come knocking.
Gotcha. Now, he seems, I watched the film, it's excellent, you know, but the guy's very intense. What's it like when you're not filming with him, you know, and you're just trying to sit around and have a sandwich with this guy?
Honestly, we barely saw him unless we were filming. Like, He was very, turn up at this point, okay, now you have to leave. Like, he was extremely careful with his security and where he is, and I think he's